Paul writes in Galatians 6:5, "For each one will bear his own load." I'm Pastor Mark, and welcome to today's parenting video. Part 2. So here are a few thoughts from Mark Gregson about what happens when we overparent. Number 1, over-responsible parenting stifles motivation. If behavior is goal-oriented and goals are already being met by parents who assume the responsibility to give, do, and be everything for their child, then why would the kids want to grow up or even change? If a mom always cleans up a child's messes, then there's no reason for the child to learn to clean up after themselves. If a dad always speaks for his son, then the son will never learn to speak for himself, and kids will let you do that. What Chris and I are seeing more and more of over the years are kids who are riddled with anxiety because mom and dad have always done for them and never gently pushed them past the things that make them uncomfortable or even a little anxious. The second thing is that over-responsible parenting eliminates creativity. I love the parable of the prodigal son. It's this amazing story in Luke 15. And in this story, a rebellious son demands his inheritance from his father, and he leaves home to pursue a lifestyle of excess and immorality. He lives it up for a while until he runs out of money, and his buddies all abandon him. He's alone and he's desperate. And this prodigal son ends up feeding pigs to survive. And at one point, he's so hungry that he looks longingly at this pig slop. And when he's finally hit rock bottom, the son comes to his senses and he creates this plan to go home and seek reconciliation with his father. Something that a lot of people really miss in this parable is right before the son came to his senses. And it's these 6 words, "And no one gave him anything." That's when he came to his senses. When the prodigal son ran out of options, he had to get creative. He had to come up with a plan of how to re-engage with the father that he had offended and figure out what he had to do to make things right. In fact, a lot of the skills of negotiation and creative play that were once learned on the playground or in local neighborhoods, it's been long lost by parents who are too afraid to let their kids out of their sight. The third thing, an over-responsible parent promotes irresponsibility. You know, parents are quick to accept the responsibility of making sure that their teen is happy, provided for, and protected from all potential harm. And what we don't realize in doing this, we're setting them up for failure. Many parents don't realize how their over-responsibility keeps the concept of being responsible from transferring to their child. And with the acceptance of responsibility comes maturity, which means the opposite is also true. With the rejection of responsibility comes immaturity. The basic thought that runs through a child's mind is this: if someone else is being responsible for me, I don't have to be responsible for myself. So as long as mom and dad do everything, I don't have to do anything. The fourth thing is that the over-responsible parent postpones maturity. The longer a parent holds on to responsibilities that should be gradually transferred to a child to help them grow up, the longer it will take for that child to mature. And when the teen is unmotivated, irresponsible, immature, the result is that this child will fail to launch and have a greater tendency to become a boomerang child. Remember the sport of curling I was talking about earlier? Will you keep rescuing your child from the consequences of their life by assuming too much responsibility or cleaning everything up for them? Adolescents whose parents carefully and gradually assign age-appropriate responsibility, those kids will progressively take ownership of their values and actions. They'll mature. They'll develop healthy social interactions and personal relationships, and they'll have the abilities and the talents to tackle whatever they encounter in life. Thanks so much for checking out this parenting video. Part 2. Have a great day. God bless.